Welcome, everybody. In the recent shareholder letter from Andy Jassy, the CEO of Amazon, he announced that AWS AI revenue is at a $15 billion run rate. This story we're about to cover is actually an example of where that number comes from. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome my panel guests. Please join us, Stefan, Alex, and Timo. We will do a quick round of introductions and then we'll get started. Please take a seat. So, let's start with the brief introduction. Your name, why are you here, and what do you do on a day-to-day basis? Let's start with you, Stefan, please.
Yes, hello and thanks for having me. My name is Stefan Krawinkel. I'm from the Volkswagen brand passenger cars, and within the domain production, I'm responsible for the integration of generative AI into our plants.
Alex.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alexander Vogt. I'm from Accenture, and I'm responsible for our global data and AI portfolio at Volkswagen Group. And with this capacity, one of my key focus areas is on the production area, where we are very lucky and fortunate to join into this transformation.
Yeah, thanks for having me today. My name is Timo Grueter. I'm a global solutions architect within AWS. I'm particularly collaborating with automotive and manufacturing customers in building platforms and solutions like the one that we built together. Yeah, perfect. I'd like to hand over to Sid again.
Very good, very good. Okay, I would like to start with you. Please explain to us the problem that we are trying to solve for this solution. We'll talk about what the solution is and the challenges, but what is the problem that we are working backwards from?
Yes, as you may have read already, it's about maintenance, and in maintenance it's crucial to talk about time, the mean time to repair, for example. Yeah, and that's the main problem we wanted to address with this solution.
Okay, very good. I hear critical maintenance knowledge, instantly accessible when it matters the most, right?
Yes.
So what was, maybe describe a little bit more the business situation that prompted the need for this type of a solution, and why was it important to address this now, or let's say in the last 6 months when we have been working together?
Maybe some of you are familiar with the situation on the shop floor. You have a downtime of your machinery equipment, and then time is running, time is ticking. Yeah. And what you need is information. Information about your assets, information about best practices, what to do in this situation. And that is always related to the person who is on the shop floor at this time. And the solution takes this into account and wants to deliver instantly information that is needed for this situation.
I see. So, increasing need for digitalization, information is available, but we are trying to solve the problem of access to information in real time. Yeah? Alex, I will switch over to you now. How did we, as Accenture, approach solving these problems, working very closely with our customer team?
So, you know, it all starts really with the core users and really understanding the business problem, right? So we spend quite a lot of time in really understanding and going in the depth of where's the problem coming from, who's going to be using this product, and also what are the specific requirements and the KPIs, how we are going to be measuring success. So that's one big area. And the big second area, I would say, is then looking into how can we really not only come to an idea and a proof of concept, but we really wanted to make sure right from the start that anything that we are building is able to scale. And this is where ultimately our partnership really comes into play, and came into play right from the beginning.
Yeah. With any new solution, especially one that uses AI or GenAI, there can be hesitancy from the user population. So we always say that building user trust early is the most important thing. How did we go about solving for that challenge for this particular solution?
Yeah. So what we have is we have responsibles from the individual business units that are our interface to the end customers. that really work hard to understanding what the requirements are, and that are also, on the other side, our bridge points where whenever we have a new feature, anything that's a new functionality, we can play it back to get the results back and the immediate customer feedback. Yeah.
Okay, very good. And maybe talk a little bit about the journey. If we take a step back, right? We have framed the problem here and the why. When did this collaboration start? What was the first step? Doing the pilot and where things are today, and maybe Stefan, you can jump in here as well.
I'm happy to see Gerd Esser here from the Impro, our innovation partner from Berlin. It started really with the POC together with Impro and Accenture as one of the partners. And we placed the project in Portugal, one of our 14 plants outside of China. And my group is responsible for all those 14 plants. And we started with the project in 2024 in Portugal, and the serious development was taken over by Accenture. And we always collaborated with the maintenance personnel in the plant in Portugal. And you talked also about scaling.
Yeah.
I mentioned 14 plants, and we released the product in Portugal end of September, October, and in December, we scaled it not only to the 3 main plants in Germany inside VW, but also to 5 additional plants in the group components as a POC in the dedicated plant. So, and that's kind of the beauty of approach where you can scale instantly.
So the key message for me is when it comes to scaling, it's important to get that first pilot right.
Yes.
Understand the user problems, work backwards from that, build trust in the system, and then the subsequent scaling, you mentioned the 5 + 3, 8 plants, that took not that much longer than the initial pilot.
No. That was really a high risk somehow. Yeah? We took the risk and the chance, and we scaled the product from Portugal into 8 additional plants in 3 weeks. I mean, that's really a big effort, yeah? And just to give you some insights, yeah? Because you will ask yourself, okay, what is the product and what does it deliver?
Yeah.
May I can give some insights?
Please.
Okay. We thought about how to start with our customers and not to build highly sophisticated first product after 2 years of development. And we decided to start with a chatbot that is able to chat with documents, the manuals, the best practice documents, so flat files. That was the starting point. And we started with that in Portugal. And then we were able to scale quite instantly because the documents are provided by the maintenance personnel in the plants. And therefore, they know best which documents they want to provide for their technicians when they're on the shop floor. And that made it easier to scale. And now that we have a broader audience that uses it, we are going into a next stage to deploy more features that give more value to our customers, but together with the customers.
This topic of rapid scaling is a good topic to bring in, Timo, from AWS. So please talk about, from your perspective, the partnership at work here. AWS working with Accenture and jointly working with Volkswagen. What made that work here?
Yeah, what really make it work was, like, first of all, you had like the deep domain knowledge of the VW group. So like they provided, for example, to us the manuals, the documents that we could leverage in that regard. They also had, like, directly from the beginning up the plan in mind. Yeah, we want to scale to this 14 plant. That's our key goal. And then from the Accenture side, really coming in, defining together a solutions architecture that can work, that can scale. And together with our services and team, you can look at them like building blocks, different GenAI building blocks that you can leverage, and that we brought all together into an architecture and then started deploying the solution, initially starting with the POC and then really scaling it towards the different plans, also by already being able to leverage the landing zone that the VW group provide and based on the digital production platform.
Alex, anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think that's really key. Yeah. So right from the start, as I said, we really also thought about how can we scale it technically. Now, DPP was laying the foundation, the groundwork, where there's a big strategic decision already. Look, everything that we are going to be building is going to be based up on the DPP. But then we also want to take all of the learnings and everything that we're building so that we can continue to scale potential further use cases. And that's how we started also thinking about further into the platform specific to GenAI. Yeah?
Yes.
And we've taken also initial steps now in not only working towards this use case, the maintenance chatbot use case, but at the same time building our capabilities in a way that we can reuse the GenAI specific, the data specific capabilities to be not even faster in the rollouts of the one use case, but also to scale additional similar use cases much faster.
That's right.
So it's a fantastic byproduct.
That's right. Okay. I will come back to you now, Stefan. We know from experience, progress is never a straight line. Please describe for us some of the challenges or pivots along the way.
For me as a production guy, time, cost, quality are always the KPIs I have to follow. If you look at time, it's time to market of such a product and also time to market for new features. But also our customers looked quite intensively on the time the chatbot reacts to their questions. Yeah, you cannot wait like 20-25 seconds for an answer. I mean, we did vectorize like tons of megabytes of data because the project was always for a whole plant. So every shop delivered its document, yeah? And therefore the time to answer was crucial. The other thing is the quality. It's one thing to build a chatbot that is able to look into vectorized documents and fetch the data. You can build this in a day, but is this providing you the quality that is needed? I bring an example. If you have, for example, a manual and you have a defect in an asset, and the manual says, do these 10 steps, and the chatbot is only offering 5 of the 10 steps, that is crucial from different perspectives. So we need to be confident that the quality is set. And then we have costs, one of my focus topics. It's all about mandatory costs. So we call it in Germany Grenzkosten. We did a lot of work together with AWS and Accenture to drive down the mandatory costs. There are cost positions related to services that count over time. So you spend the dollars even though you don't use it. And that was not the goal.
Yeah.
The goal was to lower the mandatory costs. And we did find the right services for the right features. Yeah.
Very good. So, end result, right, from the initial pilot in the Portugal plant or some of the subsequent plants, what results have you seen? What has worked fantastically well? And other benefits that you are seeing from this solution?
Yeah, it kind of gave the technicians confidence. Yeah, I mean, you as a technician, and if you are a younger person, you don't have the experience. And if you have a chatbot by your side that is offering you valid information, that is good for your own confidence in your work. And the good thing on our side is coming back to costs. Yeah. We did see a decrease in the meantime to repair and an increase of our output because the information was instantly there. And the good second point is data is crucial. Also, when you talk about flat files, and when the users come to the experience that it's up to them or their department to provide the necessary documents, then you have a better quality in the data. And then you get step by step to a better situation where the functionality of the chatbot and the provided information brings the value.
Very good. What do you see as next? What's next for this?
It's all about features, yeah. When you start with your customers and they begin to use those bots, chatbots, GenAI, they ask for more features. I mean, they can compare what we offer with commercial systems. When they took their handy and they asked another system that's commercially like fetching data from the internet, there are communities where also experts discuss maybe those topics, or they make pictures from their devices, from like controls that are showing by lights what is their status. They want more features, and they tell us those features. And next middle of year we start to develop the next feature set, and in parallel we are also scaling this solution to other brands of VW, like to North America, Mexico, South America, South Africa, and so on. So the solution is a handsome first step, and with the new feature set, we will find new customers within our ecosystem.
Yeah, very good. In the interest of time, and I want to leave some time for questions as well, I will end with another round robin prompt. So, Timo, we will start with you and we will move down and we will close with Stefan. Based on your experience working with Accenture and AWS and Volkswagen here, what is the one piece of advice you would give to other customers that are on a similar journey? Same prompt for both of you as well.
Start building early, like leverage the platform, already have the scaling in mind from the beginning, start building, fail, and then reiterate.
Okay, very good. Alex?
For me, it's two things. One is absolute client centricity, understanding the business problem, the requirements, and really directly and very integratedly work with those end customers. Second is the most important piece, actually, data. It's all about data. Actually, all of the services are there that you're requiring to build such a solution. On the other side also, there's a lot of experience also with how to implement. Yeah? We bring a lot of that experience already on the table. But what's really taking us time is to understand and then also implement the data requirements. Yeah? But what's amazing to see is that these functionalities that we can build up now is creating a fantastic reason on why it's really required and makes absolute sense to invest in that also now.
My key takeaway is my customers are quite cost sensitive. Yeah, they need to drive down the costs. And my suggestion always is start with the costs from the beginning. When you are building your solution architecture, place price tags from the beginning on. So, and that with it, we were able to provide a product that is so low in its mandatory costs that my customers want to use it because it has the features and it has the right cost base.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for that. I think we've all heard a great example of applying GenAI and AI not just as an experiment, but on an existing foundation where it's yielding value in production. So with that, I've been Sid Gambhir. I'm part of Accenture's AWS partnership team. We are actually just behind the AWS Theater. So come back and talk to us if you want to know more about the solution. We will stay here for more Q&A as well. Timo, I want to thank you. Alex, I want to thank you. Most of all, Stefan, I want to thank you. And for everybody to join us. So thank you so much.